The number one tip I guess I would go back to what's your overall return on ad spend. So I mean, we grew up in, I mean, by we, Amazon, we grew up in like this e-commerce environment and understanding, if a button is clicked, that yielded X amount of dollars. And so I guess when I think about the overall ad spend, how does all of that ad spend fit together, and ultimately what is driving the actual sale of a vehicle? So being able to tie back media exposure to the sale of a vehicle. And then I think the easiest one probably is not getting caught in that CPM or CPC trap.
Drew, same question. What's your number one tip?
Yeah, I think, peeking under the hood as much as you possibly can. There's plenty of instances, especially, the way some of these media platforms like Google or Facebook are going, where they're using a lot of algorithmic learning and AI to place ads, which is great. It makes things more efficient. But if you're not keeping a close eye on that, there can be a lot of waste where you think you're spending money, 60% of your budget on new, 30 on used, and 10% on service. But when you actually go and look at some of the reports, it turns out it's basically all new. So continuously, keeping a microscope and understanding that there can be a lot of potential waste, even if something's called new, used, or service, that is not necessarily spending towards the profit centers like you think it is.
Sarah, a tip for holding vendors accountable?
I would say really investigating what information and data that they're using to make decisions for your budget and strategy. So I guess when I say like marketing budget, it goes hand in hand with strategy. Where are we spending and why? So a lot of times what you'll hear is, going back to just digital data alone to make all of these decisions on what you should be spending on, which I think then goes back to why we end up with so many inflated budgets in paid search. So I think really investigating how your partners are evaluating data, what data are they looking at to make the best recommendations for your dealership in your particular market during a particular season. And that also goes to, if your budgets have been stagnant over the last 6 to 12 months, nothing's changed. I'm not saying overall increases should always be made, but reoptimization should be made. You should be shifting budget around as you're seeing different channels work, or your goals change, or there's seasonality or events or whatever it is that we need to readjust. So budgets should be fluid and they should be aligned based on your objectives and where your customers are. And obviously the performance data that the agency or the partner is getting to be able to make those decisions.